Welcome to my channel. I am a budget mama based in the UK, and my little family of 3 is working to a cash budget to help us keep control of our finances. Today I'm going to be stuffing our weekly cash envelopes. This is the money that we spend every week. We put £170 in, and that is fixed every week. I think with costs going up, we may have to tailor that, so some weeks we might have to put a little bit less in. Just because we are finding it harder and harder to make ends meet on our current income. So we've got 170, there's 20, 40, 60, 80, 1, 20, 40, 50, 60, 70, 170. The first thing that I need to do is see what we've got left from last week. I do apologise, I meant to say at the beginning of this video that I do have a dressing on my left hand again. Oh my goodness, you would not believe. So slightly terrifying moment a couple of days ago. I was crossing the road with my daughter. We were close to a roundabout, but not super close, and I didn't see any cars coming, so we started crossing the road, and then a car came off the roundabout onto the road that we were on. So we started running to make sure we were off the road before the car got to where we were, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if she lost her footing or I lost my footing, but yeah, we fell. Both of us fell onto the road in front of an oncoming car. I've taken all of the skin off the palm of my hand where my scar is, so that was insanely painful and looks horrific. I've also bruised and battered my other hand. We've both got grazed knees, and I had a minor panic attack afterwards because I'm sat there thinking, oh dear Lord, that could have been so much worse. You know, what if the car hadn't seen us? And just nightmare situation. We were on our way to Morrison's to get ice lollies, so we went in and I asked to see the first aider, just because the palm of my hand was, well, not the palm, the heel of my hand where my scar is and where I skinned everything off, was bleeding quite profusely. So, you know, I had to be brave and not show it in front of my daughter, because I mean, she's only got a little graze on one of her knees, but I was properly bruised and battered and feeling absolutely stupid. So anyway, I do apologise. Bandage, if you don't like bandages, don't watch. Listen or find another video where I don't have a bandage on. There are probably about 3 out there. But otherwise, stick with me and we'll get into it. So, last week I set myself a challenge to spend only £30 on food, and I have put that in the wrong way, and I have successfully done that. Turn that round because that's going to bug me. So we have absolutely 0 left in, and that is literally, we went 1p over. I asked my husband to go and get some what was he getting? He was getting something, and I wanted some crisps as well because we were having a little picnic in the garden. So he only had 99p left from the money I'd given him, like what was left in food. I think he'd gone to get cheese. So he was looking for a packet of, I think he was looking for tortilla chips originally, and he couldn't find any anywhere. So he went into a local kind of cheapy food store that we've got called Oops. And he managed to find 3 bags of kettle chips, crisps, for 19, no, they were 3 for £1, and he went to the lady at the till and she let him off the penny, which was very kind of her. I think they were 49p each, so we still could have got 2 bags, but she let him off the penny, and so he could get the 3rd bag. So we literally spent £30 and a penny on food, technically. Car we put into the tank. The petrol money went into the tank. We've got just under a quarter of a tank left, so that's kind of seen us through. Self-care, we have a few pounds left. Ow. Oh, I'm back to grunting and groaning in these videos with this blooming hand. So we've got £3.22 left in self-care. Clothing we have not touched, so we should have £50, and I am capping that at 50. So we've got 20, 40, £50 in clothing. So no money is going to go into clothes this week. Which means that we'll have £20 to either put into savings or to put elsewhere, which is excellent. Why am I? Yes, because we're not putting money in there. So miscellaneous. Just had to berate myself for putting it back in like a silly sausage. I just said silly sausage on YouTube. Excellent. Maybe cut that. Miscellaneous, we have 87p, not a lot, but it's something. And pets, we have £5.50. We do need dry food. I probably could have bought the dry food out of that, but I haven't been to the shop, so we'll get that this week. So that is everything that was left. We've actually got a note and a few coins, so they can go into my savings challenges. And I am thinking that I'm going to do a bit of a food challenge this week as well, because last week I made bread from scratch. I made a lot of meals from scratch. I made a lot of meals from scratch. I was more thoughtful about what we were going to buy and how much we were going to buy. I didn't kind of get sucked into the, oh, it's 3 for 2 or 5 for £4 or something like that. So I didn't get sucked into that. I was really focusing on the cheapest products by weight rather than the multi-buy deals. I did see that Asda has their new Just Essentials range, but unfortunately we are a vegan family and very little of what they provide is vegan, unfortunately. And I get it, we are very lucky to be able to follow a vegan diet. There are a lot of people who couldn't afford it, a lot of countries where you can't do it, simply because of what is on offer. So we are very lucky to be able to follow a vegan diet, but in some situations it is frustrating because it is much more expensive, or it can be much more expensive to follow a vegan diet than a cheap kind of meat-based diet. But that is our choice, and that is not something that's going to change just from a moral and ethical standpoint. So I'm going to come to the food last. I'm thinking either £30 or £40. I don't think we need the full 50, because when we have £50 in there, we get more kind of luxury items. We get a lot of convenience food, and we don't necessarily need that. So I'm thinking I could get away with a bit less. So 20, 40, 60, 70 is going into the car fund, the petrol fund. So that's 70 into the car fund. Personal care gets 10. And this is just for shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste, that sort of stuff. If we have £10 left at the end of the week, we do sometimes spend it on a coffee shop trip. Just, you know, that's like mental health personal care rather than, you know, body personal care. Miscellaneous gets 10. This is just for anything that isn't covered by food or personal care. So sometimes a little bit of DIY stuff. We bought some sealant because we've built some built-in shelves in our living room and our alcoves. So we needed some sealant from that, so that went out of miscellaneous. Pets gets 10, and of course the machine has given me no £10 notes, so let's see what we've got. I'm going to dip into my spending money from the holiday. So I'm going to put 20 in, take 2 tins out. So 10 is going into the pet fund. This is just for our cat, and it only covers food, treats and cat litter, toys, catnip, that kind of thing. So that is that. So that means we've got 20, 40, 60, 70 pounds this week, because 20 would have gone into clothing and then 50 would go into our food. I am thinking, it was hard. So sticking to a very low food budget was challenging this week. I don't have a lot of cheap recipes that I use regularly. So things like making kind of bean chilies and stews and stuff like that, I don't do those very often. So they're not my go-tos. And I don't have recipes for them, so I did find it quite challenging finding recipes to follow, really. I found it took a lot of time to plan the meals, but once I've been doing it for a while, I think it's going to get easier. So I'm thinking maybe we put 40 into food, or do I do the 30 again? I'm going to put the 40 in just because we have depleted some of the things in our cupboard, so we will have to replace some of those, but I don't think we need the full 50. Oh, full disclosure from last week, every other Wednesday we have a date night. My daughter goes to the grandparents and stays over, and my husband and I have an evening and overnight to ourselves without worrying about a child. So that is our date night. And this week, this last date night, we went to our local observatory and stayed up far too late. But we did get Subway on the way there. So that came out of our fun money, but it was a meal, so there was a meal that didn't come out of our £30 last week. Just full disclosure. But it was an amazing evening and a fantastic date night. We saw the rings on Saturn and 2 of her moons. We saw Jupiter and the banding on Jupiter, and we saw all 4 of her moons. Initially we only saw 3, but then as one of them orbited, it came into view, so we saw all 4 of those, which was just mind-boggling. We saw the Ring Nebula, we saw the Andromeda Galaxy. Those were both kind of like grey smudges. They don't look like the beautiful multicoloured pictures that you see in magazines and online and stuff. But it was still amazing to be able to see an entire galaxy through a telescope. That's just insane. And we saw binary star systems. It blew our minds how much you could actually see. And we're definitely going to go again. We can only go together every other week because we can't really take my daughter and stay up that late, really, because she's only young. But my husband can go every week, and I can just join him every other week because he's the space nerd. He's the one that wants to get into it, so I think I might overtake him in the space nerdery though eventually. Anyway, apologies, rambling. So that's all the money in our weekly cash envelopes. So that is sorted. We've got some money left over from last week, and we've got £30 from this week. We've got £39.59 in total. So let's have a look at our savings challenges. So my next biggest is 48, but so 30, 40, 47, 48. I might just put it into the 35, to be honest, rather than condensing. I can condense at a later date. So if I put the 35 into my weekly challenge, and then I can put my £4.59 into my penny savings challenge. And that will make me feel like I'm making progress in both, because it's a bit frustrating when I only pay into one or the other. So 35 is going to go into my weekly savings challenge. And then where are we? 361. I can do 360 and then 99. 360 and 99. Yep. So 99 and 360 is going into Toothless. So let's do that first. I still haven't got to the bank because I'm useless. And just, I mean, in this heat I haven't wanted to get out the house, to be honest. It's been too hot and too sweaty, and well, we've barely got in the garden. I've just kept the curtains closed and melted in the house. Right, there we go. Toothless is sorted. So that's that one, let that dry, and then 35 is going into the weekly challenge. So that is going nicely. I will put the totals up on the screen again just so you can keep track with where we are. But it's nice to actually have a little bit of money left over. So by capping the clothing at 50 and doing a little bit of a food challenge every week, it's going to give us a bit more money to put into savings, which is going to make us feel like we're actually making progress, which we had stopped doing for a little while. So that's our spending money for the week, all done. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you either finding me or coming back and watching my channel. I was blown away by the number of people saying happy anniversary after my last video. I do really appreciate it. Thank you so much. It was a great day, and well, we gave each other the universe for our anniversary date, which was, yeah, as I say, mind-boggling, and definitely has nothing to do with what I've got him for his birthday. Close your ears, husband. So I hope to see you again for my next video. Take care and happy budgeting.